Welcome to the ISB show. I'm your host, Sahil, here with Shauna. That, of course, means we're covering women's soccer/football and a big week ahead for the U.S. women's national team, Shauna. But we are covering what happened this weekend with the NWSL. Now, we don't always talk about club football, but we do have to cover the championship matches. And this was a fantastic championship match. Orlando Pride, Washington Spirit, a little bit of everything for the NWSL Championship. And Shauna, let's break it down.
Yeah, I mean, we had, of course, the legend Marta. We had Barbra Banda versus, amazing players, Trinity Rodman, Kwasi. It was a showdown if I've ever seen one. And even though it was not a very high scoring game, I felt like, especially the second half, it was a good final.
Yeah, a lot to talk about. Of course, the Washington Spirit eliminated last year's champions, Gotham FC, which is, of course, the team that maybe everyone thought was going to take it again. Didn't get it done, but we came into this match thinking, look, we expected a lot from Trinity Rodman, expected a lot.
I did. I came in wearing her shirt. I mean, I am such a big Trin fan. Marta, respect, GOAT forever, ever. But I just, I'm a Trin girl. And I was a little disappointed, I will say, although I was very happy for Marta and very happy for Marta's mom, who looks so much like her. It is so cute.
Yeah, we'll get to Marta in a second. Let's just focus on the Washington Spirit for a little bit. It was an interesting match because up until the beginning, you saw a little bit from the Spirit. And then on the goal, Barbra Banda, as she always does, comes through. What do you think as a whole about how the Spirit played, Shauna, in this match?
I mean, I do think they really started knocking on the door in the second half, particularly at the end of the second half. I don't think this was their best performance. I think defensively, especially, there were some issues. Morgan made a couple mistakes. Unfortunately, Hatch, I think, had a fair number of good shots on target, and, they just didn't go in. It wasn't their best game. And obviously that goal, there were some defensive errors. And I think Aubrey Kingsbury normally probably would have been able to stop that. And, even Trinity Rodman, she's obviously still recovering from her injury, but I didn't quite see the same intensity that I think I have seen her with before. And obviously I think we all would have loved seeing Corey Bethune, Rookie of the Year, play. So, that's obviously a whole different story, but
yeah, she had the injury, of course, which kept her out of the championship match. So
so she's been out, and it was a good, I think, particularly towards the end of the second half. I do think they were really, really pushing, and I was hoping they would sneak one in, kind of the way they did with Gotham. And, I like how scrappy they play. I don't know. That PK call kind of lives in my head. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I personally think it should have been a PK.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because I think that was an important incident in the match. It was basically the last play of the match, more or less. And Kwasi, who had a good game, right? Kwasi
She did. I was gonna say she did really have a great game, and she, to me, she was the shining star on the Spirit.
Yeah, so she gets taken out by a defender, and it looked, for all intents and purposes, for the neutral viewer, I thought that was a penalty.
Yeah, I mean, it was difficult because they were kind of bunched up, and then you had the first two attacks that were clean, but it was really that last one where, I mean, to me, clearly that is not a bad play in that sense, but I think that, I mean, she was in the box and the impact took her down and she could no longer take it to score. So to me, that was a clear, I don't know. I thought that was a PK.
Yeah, I think it was for all the, like I said, all the neutrals I think out there probably felt it was a PK. I don't know what the viewers out there thought about it. Overall, I think the national team players on the Spirit, Trinity Rodman, Hal Hirschfeld, and Kruger all had decent matches, I think, but not some of the spectacular performances that they've had when they're wearing a U.S. women's shirt.
Yeah, and obviously, it's a different dynamic, and I think, clearly they've obviously won before. I was happy that Marta and the Pride won, and I see them getting it in the future as well. I really don't think that this was a goodbye, we're never going to see you again situation.
Yeah, right.
I think,
yeah.
I think we're going to see these teams keep progressing pretty far in this league. What I would like to see is our team, Angel City, that is such a valuable team now economically. I would like them to start advancing and kind of living up to their name and how much backing they have.
Yeah, I think that's something 100% for all the LA based fans out there. That's something that needs to be improved. But yeah, and overall, I think Washington Spirit, like you said, they're going to be back and they're going to be challenging again. But this day belonged to a certain Orlando Pride team and Marta, and I think this is where we should finish this episode and spend a little time, because this was kind of a culmination. She's, of course, 38 years old. She said that she wants to keep playing, right, Ishana? She said she wants to keep playing for another 2 years.
Yeah, I believe so. And, you would never be able to tell her age. She is, talk about goals. She had that amazing goal in the semi. Just swooped past a few players. And, she looked pretty good in this turn. She had that goal, or she had that shot in the first half. But to me, she's not signaling any she's not
slowing down.
Signs of slowing down. Yes, is the word. I'm not seeing any of that. She's playing a full 90. She looks great, and I think it's really wonderful to see her. Obviously, we've seen her medal before with Brazil, but we've never seen her in the NWSL take the championship and just being the champion. She can just have that under her belt. I think she was saying that this was a very important, if not the most important game of her career. And I think it's great. She's obviously been really instrumental in transforming the game. And I think, the NWSL is such a great league. And I'm curious to see what's going to happen now that they eliminated the draft. And we're also seeing so much excitement. I don't know if anyone's following. The Champions League is great. We got the WSL. We got all these, these women playing in these huge stadiums, garnering lots of attention and crowds. What I would like to see for the future of, if we could just segue a little bit.
Yeah. Well, one real quick thing. I want to say the nice moment with Marta and her mom, right?
Yes.
That was such a touching moment, right?
Yeah, so touching. Obviously, her mom was bundled up. It was so cute. She obviously had come from a much warmer climate, and I don't know if this is true, but someone said she'd taken her out shopping or something and got her these clothes, but it was really lovely. As soon as they won, she burst into tears, and think about it, just imagining that your daughter contributed so much to women's soccer and soccer in general. Even Vinicius Jr. has recognized Marta's significance as a Brazilian soccer player and being up there with players like Pelé, and she is just a true legend, and it's wonderful that her mom got to witness this moment.
Yeah, I think it was a great moment for her and for a legend of the game. Okay, moving on, Ishana, you wanted to say, as we sort of put a wrap on this, you wanted to talk about the women's game as a whole and where things are right after this championship.
Yeah, it's the NWSL is obviously, it's not like the MLS in terms of where it kind of stands. Obviously, in club leagues for women's soccer, it is a powerhouse. It is arguably maybe the best league. And I would like to see, while I understand that we should honor sort of how the Champions League format takes place in Europe and obviously with the calendar, I would like to see more friendlies between, let's get like a Real Madrid Washington Spirit friendly, or let's get this. Let's get Arsenal out here. Let's get some friendlies going that can garner some, transnational and cross-cultural action.
Cross-continental action between the WSL and NWSL. That would be a fun situation, right?
Yeah, even with we would always see in preseason, obviously, we always see like Galaxy playing, sometimes Real Madrid, and the people kind of going back and forth and stuff. And while I don't know if it's possible to expand, for example, the Champions League and create.
But they could do something like the men are doing this summer with the with the Club World Championship. Basically something like that. I think that's something, and I don't know. It's possible that's already on the radar for the women, but that's something that definitely needs to be pursued in terms of that.
Yeah, so I'd like to see more friendlies in that regard. It's very cool to see players like, Santos, Marta, all these international players playing at in the WSL, or sorry, in the NWSL, but there's so many more amazing players, who I want to see. Linda Casado, like I just want everybody to understand the household names. And
100%.
Another thing is, it's difficult, right? Some of the other games are on streaming platforms like DAZN for us here in the States, and you kind of have to shuffle around. But it would be nice if we just got a little bit more
access,
mixing,
right?
And access.
100%. And it's also nice to see the American players play for teams like Arsenal and stuff over there, right? So we get to see
right now we have like Lindsay Horan and Emily Fox, and it would be nice to see some more people going over there.
Yeah. So we'll wrap up on the NWSL season. Congratulations again to the Orlando Pride. Congratulations to Marta, and of course, commiserations to Trinity Rodman. But we will see her shortly, or actually, we will not see her shortly because of the roster. We'll talk about that later.
Right, yeah. They're vacationing. They've earned it. Like, let them do their thing.
See a different look for the U.S. women's national team when they take on England next week, but we'll bring you all the coverage for that. For those of you enjoying these videos, please subscribe to the channel. Ishana, one final note as we take it away for this NWSL season.
I mean, now we can say bye to this and start prepping for the real deal, No, I'm just kidding. I'm happy to see all the young talent, and if anything, I think it's becoming more difficult to choose the American roster because we're just loaded with talent. So
yeah. So we'll say it. Well, we could say it. It's NWSL is an American league, but we'll say go USA in soft words. But really, we'll say go NWSL, go women's football, go women's soccer, and congratulations to Marta and obrigado for all you have done for the women's game.